already outlined for me. Some may say, well, how are you so sure that God writes our outline? That is not just whatever it is. Well, the word tells us. In Jeremiah 29:11, he says, for I know the thoughts that I have towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Means the greatest that you could possibly have. Right? Then in John 10:10, as he's talking about being the great shepherd, he says the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. So everything that I've already outlined for you is for you to have the blessings of increase in me, so that my glory can be manifested in your life. But the narrative is still determined by you. So what's it going to be? What story are you going to tell? See, I have to be there and walk through the situation to be able to tell the narrative first. It is me relaying the experience that has already taken place, or the situation that I'm directly in the middle of at that moment. And you say, well, I don't tell nobody my situation. Do you ever talk to yourself about your stuff? You say, well, what I'm going to do about this, and how dare he tell me about? That's your narrative. Whether you voice it out loud or you're just telling you're still telling your narrative. And guess what? That narrative now begins to set the playing field for how that story unfolds. The thing is, though, my narrative has to begin to align with not necessarily what I see, but what I believe God to be. So, if my body is not acting right, what's going to be my narrative? If my finances don't seem to be adding up, what's going to be the narrative? If they put me in a job position that I ain't asked for, don't want to be here, but I'm here anyway, what's going to be my narrative? If my mental state is playing tricks with me and I'm feeling challenged, overwhelmed, overbearing, what's going to be the narrative? If my emotions is going back and forth upside down and I don't know how to deal with it, what's going to be my narrative? If my bed feels lonely at night, what's going to be my narrative? When the fire comes and it's telling me it's this or that, what's going to be my narrative? When it comes time to step out of the boat, what's going to be my narrative? Because it's at that time of me deciding what lens I look through that produces this decision and choices, that produces that narrative that allows me to either walk in God's will and receive the glory of his blessings, or reap what that brings on its own. But we get to choose. Even Jesus had his own narrative. He came in with a purpose. There was a specific reason for the things he did. Hebrews 12:12 tells us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. That's the beginning. Wait. What? Read that again for you. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. That means he has already written the story from beginning to end in regards to the expected outcome that is for us. But it even goes beyond that. Who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross. That means he had to go through it first. There had to be some pain, some suffering, some torturing. But it was part of the narrative, right? For what? Desiring the show, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So the end result was already in place, but there were some things that had to be done, some things that had to be experienced, a road that had to be traveled first to get to that point. The ideal is this: no matter where we are at, no matter what we are experiencing, no matter what we feel, it must become our intent to have a narrative of him. It must become our purpose to have a perception of him. So that as we are trying to grow and become more knowledgeable, we are learning how to walk in the way that he has led us. And if we're not in alignment with him, then we need to begin to reevaluate. Hold on, let me look at my choices here. Now, I made this choice, and I made a decision based upon me seeing it like this. But if me seeing it like this produced this, maybe I need to start seeing this different. For me, scales had to fall off. The fellow who walked into county jail in June 2011 had to evaluate who he was. And after very deep introspection, it hurt to realize I was that person, because I felt the ripple effects of who that person was. I felt the pain that was caused by that person. So it became my goal, my desire, my hunger to begin to look through a different lens. But it's amazing how the more I begin to strive for that, the more I begin to see reflections of my old self all around me, especially in the environment I was in. But that evolvement doesn't change. Even here now, I still have to continually pursue and press toward having a mindset and a perception, not to get caught up in the moment of what it feels like here and now, but realizing and remembering what God has already done and shown himself. With Peter in the boat, Jesus had just fed the 5,000. Hours earlier, they had just seen him do a miracle with the loaves of bread and the fish. So it was still fresh in their minds. But yet and still, some water and some wind changed the narrative. Wait, this is the same Jesus who just did all that. But now I'm worried. I'm standing on water. I'm concerned with the wind, but that's how we do. My perception directly dictates my direction. My direction produces my narrative. So I need to be in a space now of, in every situation, in every circumstance, Lord, bless my narrative to be of you. Amen?
Amen.
I hope I said something that resonated, that hit home, and that we take to heart.
Amen.
And God bless.
Amen.